video is designed to be a little bit of a shorter time. I've been noticing I practice, my home practice is about a half hour a day, and I'm feeling like a lot of people would just enjoy a half hour. So I'm hoping this serves you, and I hope you're enjoying my new space in my backyard. This is my, as my 15-year-old says, Jenny's yoga pagoda. So let's get started. We're going to start on our backs. So come into a full body stretch once you arrive. Give yourself plenty of time, no big deal, just nice and easy. We're going to take a nice full body stretch where we reach the arms up overhead, spreading out through the fingers and toes. And then as you exhale, gently hug the knees in towards the chest. And spread out through the toes, roll out the ankles in one direction or the other. Keep the back of the head on the floor. Really relax the shoulders, the space in the back of the neck. And gently rock from one side of your hip, and then back to center and over towards the opposite side of your hip. And then you might just create nice little circles. With the hands on the knees, we draw outward, and then draw back in. Nice and easy. And then the opposite direction. And these circles can be more exaggerated depending on what feels good in your body. Let the feet rest down onto the floor. Feet together, knees wide. We're in reclined bound angle. Arms can rest down by your sides. Maybe you have one palm on the belly, other hand on the chest, on the heart space, whatever feels good in your body. Take in your surroundings. Take in the sounds around you. Notice and experience the breath now that we're getting quiet together. Cultivating a deeper sense of presence. A nice easy breath in through the nose, and an audible, soundable exhale to yourself. A nice easy invitation into this practice. And nice and easy, keeping the hands outside the knees. Close the knees up like a book. And let's start with figure 4. We're going to bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh. We're going to open up the outer hip and glute. As you flex through the right foot, draw your right knee forward, away from you, towards the front of your mat. With your arms rested down by your sides, start to just, in this orientation, right, this configuration of figure 4, draw your hips over towards the left side. So you're rocking over on that left hip. Continue to draw the right knee away from you. It doesn't matter how far you go, right? That's not what yoga is. It's really about cultivating a sense of presence, deep relaxation, getting more real healthy range of motion in the body, moving over towards the right hip, and then coming back to center. And if you want, you can start to hug this left knee in towards the chest. Notice that I'm not using my upper body to do this. You can try, if you want, to bring the hands behind the back of the left thigh. Otherwise, bring the hands, just rest them on the belly or by your side. Continue to flex to the right foot. Draw your right knee forward. And if you can, do little circles around your low back and sacrum, like we did earlier with both knees in towards the chest. One direction and the other. And then just let that left foot come down, right foot to meet the left. You're back here. Good. Let's take the left on top of right. Flexing this left foot. Draw that left shin, left knee forward. And pause, relaxing through the belly and the chest. Let the hips rock a little bit over towards the right side of your mat. Notice how this feels. Continue to draw this left knee forward, away from you. And then come back to center. And see how far over the left hip, how you want to draw over towards the left side of your mat. Continue to draw that left knee away. And then when we come back to center, you can explore hugging the right knee in towards the chest. For this variation, try not to really round up in the shoulders, the back of the neck. You can just really settle in there. Draw this left knee forward, maybe little circles now, in one direction or the other. Nice and slow and steady. Taking in the sensation through the back body, the outer left hip. And nice and easy, releasing that right foot long, left foot long. Let's come into another full body stretch, reaching out, inhale. Exhale, navel in towards spine, gently hug both knees in towards the chest. And if it's okay for your spine, you start to slowly roll forward and back. Now, if you know that's not good for your spine, for instance, if you have osteoporosis in the back, you might start to just roll over towards one side. If your back is achy, like mine often is, you roll over to one side and you press up to sit. Nice and easy. Great. Find a comfortable seat. Make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall, that there's not that backward tilt of the pelvis. You want to really be more neutral, like when you're standing in Tadasana, mountain pose, so there's length in the spine. And then crisscross Sukhasana with your hands on your knees, we'll start to roll a little bit, coming into these little Kundalini circles or Sufi circles. As you inhale, you come forward, open up to the chest and shoulders, and as you exhale, draw back, draw the chin in towards chest, rock on the back of the hips a little bit, hollow out the belly. And be playful here, we're just creating space. And then once you've completed the circle, come back to center and we'll move in the opposite direction. Coming forward on the inhale and drawing back on the exhale. And a few more times like this, maybe connecting breath with movement. Nice and easy. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice and easy, we come back to center, lengthen through the back of the neck, soften through the jaw and eyes, reach the arms up nice and high, spread out through the fingers, playfully reach up, rise up, palm comes down, arm sweeps up and over for a nice side bend. You might draw the gaze up, draw your right hip down, experience that stretch to the right side of the knees. You might draw the left palm out a little bit more. And again, it's all about your comfortable range of motion, where you want to reside and settle into these shapes. And then root the palm down, rise on up nice and tall, reach up, rise up, spread out through the fingers, lift through the ribs, and as you exhale, palm comes down, arm sweeps up and over. Notice the sounds you hear around you, the sound of your breath. Keep drawing that hip down towards the floor, that left hip as you reach with the left fingerprints, and then root the palm down, rise back up again. And as you exhale, arms come down by your sides. A little shrug of your shoulders a little bit. And then we'll come into a wide knee child's pose. Toes touch, knees widen. As you walk your hands forward, we're lengthening the torso, releasing it down towards the mat. Hips soften towards the heels. The forehead releases completely. Keep a softness, bend, a little soft bend in the elbows. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Gently draw the brow line from one side to the other. And nice and easy, as you come up to all fours, tabletop position, hands are underneath your shoulders, knees and hips are aligned, belly drawn in, back of the neck long and relaxed. Left leg's going to come out towards the side of your mat. Your foot's going to be in line with your right knee. Keep the palms a little bit more broader than normal, maybe out like on the width of your mat. And as you root your right palm down, left arm kind of sweeps open, nice and gracefully. Chest opens, belly, ribs, left arm can rise up. You might even look up. As you exhale, round the left shoulder, palm comes down. If you're comfortable, walk your hands back towards your right hip. Relax the head and soften down. Big inner left thigh stretch. Come back up. We'll do that one more time. Right palm roots, left arm sweeps open. Belly, ribs, chest, slight rotation, so there's a little twist here. And as you exhale, round the top shoulder, look down towards the mat. Palm comes down, you gently walk the hands back. If you need padding, take something underneath the knee so you feel more comfortable. Bring the left shin back in, reset yourself on all fours, and we're going to start to tuck our toes as we draw the tailbone up, hips forward, chest forward. We're in our cow shape. Pull the belly in, shoulder blades hug in. Try not to look up too much with the neck. And as you exhale, untuck the toes. Let's draw the hips back. So draw the tailbone down. Draw the navel in, round the low back, and then the middle back and the upper back as your crown, the top of the head, draws down. Press the floor away from you, nice straight arms, and then come back to neutral. And then we'll bring the right leg out towards the side. Your right foot's in line with the left knee. Keeping the left palm planted, the right arm kind of playfully reaches up. If it's too much, right hand comes at the hip. Otherwise, arm reaches up, fingers spreading. And as you exhale, round the top shoulder, palm comes down, and we walk back if this is comfortable. We don't have to, right? Nothing's required. It's a compassionate practice. Coming back up, left palm roots, right arm sweeps open. Spread through the fingers, open up through the chest. And as you exhale, rounding, palm comes down. And we start to walk the hands back, gently releasing the head, softening the left hip towards the heel. Notice how the inner right thigh feels. Coming back up. We're back in all fours. If you need rest, take a little child's pose. Otherwise, continue on with me. Bring the palms a little bit more forward. Tuck the toes and see if you can hover the knees for a moment as you broaden the upper back a little bit, soften through the neck. And as you pike the hips up and back, chest towards your thighs, we're going to start to maybe straighten and extend those legs coming into our first downward facing dog. Pedaling the feet, bending one knee at a time. Taking your time to drive one heel down as the opposite heel lifts. Pressing the sticky mat away from you, so find engagement in the pads of the palms, the fingerprints, right where the knuckles are, relaxing through the sides and the back of the neck. And then coming onto the tips of the toes, we're going to start to walk forward. You can come onto the tips of the fingers, bending the knees as much as you need to, walking towards the front of your mat into Uttanasana, forward bend. Look at your feet, make sure that they're parallel. Soften through the backs of your knee joints, relax the torso down. You might clasp the elbows and gently sway a little bit from side to side. Finding that ragdoll sensation through the back body, relaxing through the back of the neck, right at the base of the skull. You might even bring your palms there for a moment, just noticing this relaxed state for the back of the neck. And as you release the palms and you root it to the heels generously, these big toe mounds right below the big toes, we slowly come up, navel in, and we roll up to stand. Navel's engaged, inner thighs are kind of active. As we stack vertebrae, we get nice and tall, right? We rise up into this nice, beautiful shape of Tadasana, mountain pose. Bringing your hands in heart center. Again, just looking down at the feet. It's an alignment-based practice that keeps us present and engaged right here in this moment. Carrying the prayer up towards the sky, reach up and rise up. And as you exhale, we come all the way down. The arms can open, soften your knees, broaden your chest as you fold into the legs. Walking your hands up halfway, shins to the thighs. We firm up the thighs, draw the navel in, and we lengthen the side body from the hip crease to the shoulders, Ardha Uttanasana. And as we exhale, release back down. As we rise up to stand, sweeping the arms out and up for upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach up, lift the ribs, lift the navel, lift through the sternum. And as you exhale all the way down, with a lot of grace and control, we move. Moving meditation, right? As we inhale, walking your hands up towards the legs, any height that gets you length from these hip creases I point to through the shoulders. Broaden across the collarbones by bringing the shoulder blades a little bit towards one another. Exhale, release back down. We'll do that one more time. Rise up. Be creative about it. Rise up, reach up, and all the way down. Praying through heart center. Broad chest, navel in, head releases. Come up halfway, walk the hands up, and pause. Broaden through the chest, lengthen through the back of the neck, gaze down. Exhale, release. Planting your palms and bending the knees. You could use blocks if you had them. You're going to lunge your right leg long back behind you. Moving into some just simple sun salutation variations. Hands underneath the shoulders. Lengthen through that back right leg. Try not to let that right hip sink. Broaden through the chest. Take a nice breath in. As you exhale, start to straighten out through that front leg just a little bit. Bow the head briefly. Soften through the back of the neck. Rebend through the front knee. Plant the palms and coming back to down dog. If that transition doesn't work, back to tabletop posture. Your inhale, you come forward nice and slow into your first high plank. Shoulders over the wrist. Try not to let the hips sink a little bit. Really hug up the inner thighs. Release the knees down. Come into modified chaturanga where the chest comes forward and down. Elbows hug in. You can come all the way to the floor. Forehead touches the mat. Firm up the palms. Tack down all 10 toes. Roll the shoulders forward, up and back. So we're kind of a mid-sized cobra shape, right? Firm up those tops of the toes. Back of the neck is long. Shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, release the forehead down. Tuck the toes. Press the hips towards the heels. Almost like you're in a puppy's pose position. And then lift back up into downward facing dog. Breathing and moving. The right leg lifts up about hips height. You pause. Bend the knee, look forward like you're coming into a high plank with the knee in between the palms. You could always drop the back shin down. See if you can sneak that right foot in between the palms. Take a nice breath in, get long. Lengthen from these hip creases through the shoulders as you inhale. And as you exhale, weight into the front foot. Back foot quietly comes towards the front of the mat. Release. Rise up to stand. Reach up, rise up, inhale. And as you exhale all the way down, Uttanasana, forward bend. As we inhale, we come up halfway. You're listening to your breath, creating spaciousness in your body and mind. And as you exhale, release. Plant the palms and bend the knees. Left leg lunges long back behind you. Find that nice strong alignment here. Hands underneath the shoulders. Broaden through the back. Draw the right hip crease back and really lengthen and press that left heel behind you. And then slowly, we'll start to straighten this front leg just for a brief moment. Relaxing the back of the neck, drawing the right hip back. Rebending through that front knee. Planting the palms fully, pike the hips up nice and high, your back in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha. You can stay here and move through another flow with me, coming forward on the inhale, pausing in your strong plank, dropping the knees down, coming all the way down towards the floor, modified chaturanga. Elbows hugging, using all the upper body strength, shoulder strength as you come down nice and slow. We're in no rush. Palms right by the breastbone, roll the shoulders forward, up and back. Toes are untucked, tack down, shoulders are away from the ears. If this doesn't feel right, come down a little bit lower. See how the spine feels, back feels. Tuck the toes, press the hips back and then up. Firm up the palms, downward facing dog. Breathe, enjoy the movement, enjoy the process, the transitions as we weave in and out of shapes. Left leg rises, we lift it, bend the knee, look forward like you're coming forward into a high plank, hugging the knee in towards the chest, almost catting the spine here, and then see if you can sneak that left foot in between the palms. Get nice and aligned, or no rush again, right? Firm up the back heel, pull the belly in. When you exhale, wait until the left foot, the back foot quietly meets the front. Release, come back up, inhale, reach up, rise up, inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, arms come down by your sides. Tadasana, strong, steady, graceful mountain pose. As you inhale, lengthen out through the spine, from tailbone through crown. As you exhale, we start to sit into Utkatasana, chair pose. We bend the knees, shift the hips back and down. The arms kind of playfully sweep back and then rise up any height. For this variation of chair pose, I have the feet about parallel, hips width apart. The navel's drawn in, the inner thighs are engaged. There's broads across the chest and collarbones. Neck is long and the drishti, the gaze is very soft. Find your breath, nice and steady, and then stand up nice and tall, firm up the inner thighs, lift through the sternum, reach up, and as you exhale, you can prayer through heart center, through the midline as you release down into the legs. Come up halfway, walk your hands up, broaden through the chest, give yourself time to develop and align all of these shapes. And as you exhale, release back down. Planting the palms, bending the knees, let's step back to plank position. Stepping back with the right foot and then the left. Yogi's choice. You can stay here for a breath or two or take it right back to downward facing dog. You can always drop the knees and still really broaden the upper back, firm up the inner thighs, draw the navel in, relax your eyes, and then slowly lift back up, down dog. Heels are descending down towards the mat, belly's drawn in, inner thighs are nice and engaged. Right leg lifts up. As you lift the right leg up about hips height, bend the knee, look forward. Again, we're coming forward, bringing this right foot in between the palms. Bringing the back left foot in, planting it down for a warrior one position. Back left toes facing the left corner of your mat as you come up. And as you come up, stand and straighten that front leg. Hands at your waist. Lengthen through the torso, which is facing towards the front of your mat. Firm up your back heel and firm up your inner thighs. Rebend through that front knee. The shin reaches forward. The back leg nice and engaged, especially through the back hamstring. Hands to heart center, and then sweep the arms up nice and high. Just slow, aligned warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Pausing here, really reach to the sides of the waist. Soften through the sides of the neck. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Get yourself back into a nice lunge position, lengthening the leg back behind you, coming onto the tips of the toes. And then let's come back to downward facing dog. And coming forward, if you want to, into another vinyasa. Lowering down on the exhalation. Elbows hug in. Tack down the toes, firm up the palms. Shrug shoulders forward, up and back. Hold in your cobra pose or in your up dog. Relax through the back of the neck. And as you exhale, release. Draw the hips towards the heels and pike the hips back up to down dog. Left leg lifts. Bend the knee. Look forward. Left foot in between the palms. Nice and slow and controlled. Back foot comes in so you can plant it down. The right toes towards the right corner of your mat. Warrior one. As you rise up, we straighten this front leg. Firm up the thighs. Firm up the back heel. If you need to make a little bit more of a wider stance, bring the front toes towards the side of your mat. With the torso long and the legs strong, we bend through that knee. Bring our hands to heart center. Sweep the arms up nice and high. Feel the ribs lifting out of the waist, out of the hips. Reach with the fingerprints. They're energetic. Neck is long and relaxed. As you exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. You position yourself back into a lunge and pause. Broaden through the chest, engage through the back right thigh. And as you plant the palms, left leg comes back into down dog. If you want, move to another sun salutation. Moving through, hold your dog or find child's pose. Have a choice that makes you feel relaxed, centered. One more breath wherever you are, inhaling and exhaling. Nice and easy. Releasing yourself back into child's pose if you're not there already. Tuck the toes, soften the hips towards the heels. Release the belly, ribs, and chest. And gently walk your hands over towards the right side of the mat, lifting the head and chest, releasing the forehead back down, breathing into the left side of the waist. Belly soft, ribs relaxed, and walking back to center. And nice and easy, palms walk over towards the left side. Release the head down, soften through the brow line. Draw the right hip back in a lateral stretch for the right side waist. And then come back to center. Nice and easy, walking your hands up towards your thighs when you're ready. Shrug of the shoulders and taking your legs out in front of you. As you take your legs out in front of you, you'll widen your legs. Good. You want to make sure, again, that you don't have a backward, or they call them posterior tilt of the pelvis. So oftentimes in a class, I would offer you a blanket to lift up a little bit right under the sits bones, so you're sitting up a little bit higher, so your shoulders are in line with your hips. So you can notice this little backward tilt, or when I draw these hip points a little bit more forward. And we'll bend our right knee to begin, placing the right foot inside this inner left thigh. Left leg is long and strong, foot is flexed. As we sit up nice and tall, you might tense your fingertips, bring them outside the hips, and just lift up through the sides of the waist a little bit more. Leaning your left forearm inside the left thigh, or maybe you're catching your toe. We start to bring the hand on the right knee, and we open up towards the right a little bit. So slight rotation, twist. You might look up, and then this right arm reaches up. This might be enough for you just holding this shape, or otherwise you lean a little bit. Arm, left fingers reaching towards the right toes, flexing through the right foot. Feeling this throughout the right side of the lower back, outer hip. You don't have to look up. Slowly come back when you're ready. Arms come down by your sides, palms come down. A lot of engagement through this left palm and shoulder as we come onto the left shin, right palm, and the right shin. We come on up, lifting the pelvis, the hips, the belly, and the ribs. Arm can reach up. Really stay nice and strong and firm on that right palm, just like you would down dog. As you exhale, look down, round the top shoulder, and very carefully release the hips down towards the floor. Taking the legs out in front of you, pointing your toes and flexing. We'll bring the feet together, knees wide, for just a traditional bound angle Baddha Konasana. We were in this on our backs to begin. You'll playfully rock from side to side on those two pelvic halves of sits bones until you're evenly rooted. With your hands on your ankles, you just sit up a little bit taller, right? Draw the navel in, back of the neck long, knees draw down like this butterfly action of the knees. And then if you want, you slightly lean a little bit more forward. It's a nice humbling shape. Stay open and relaxed with the chest and the collarbones, back of the neck soft. And notice how you feel, how you're breathing. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. It's a very meditative posture. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice where the resistance is in your body. It could be the inner thighs, around the hips or low back, wherever it is. Just real kind attention and observation, making sure we feel just right between the effort and the ease as we hold the shape. And then coming back up when you're ready. Back into this big wide straddle formation, coming into the other side, bending this left knee, opening up the knee out towards the side, sitting up nice and tall, tense your fingertips, and just lift up a little bit so that we have all this length from the hip crease up through the shoulder. And then leaning the right forearm inside this right leg or thigh, maybe grabbing your toe, whatever works for you, drawing the knee down and turning the belly and the ribs and chest a little bit up towards the left. As this left arm reaches up, spread through the fingers playfully, why not? And then you might lean into it a little bit. I just put my right palm down inside this leg. That's just a really nice variation too. Notice where your drishti, your gaze, feels comfortable. Really breathe into this side stretch. And then coming back up, rise up nice and slow, long, long spine. Arms, palms come down, planting this left palm, spreading the palm into the mat. As you come onto this left shin, we lift up the hips. We lift up the belly, the ribs. You might look up as this right arm reaches. And as you exhale, looking down, rounding the right shoulder, arm comes down. Nice and easy. Good. Nice and slow too. And then lengthening the legs out in front of your mat. Make sure there's nothing behind you. And as you sit up nice and tall, right? Remember, it's not that backward tilt. You might even have a blanket underneath you for a moment. We'll reach the arms up nice and high. Reach up, you can soften the knees if you need to. If you have a strap, you can use it. And as you exhale, we're gonna fold in. As we release forward, palms come down to whatever it is. Head releases, crown reaches towards the toes. Shoulders soften, and we're in Paschimottanasana, which is very deep forward bend. If you need to soften the knees a little bit, have a strap if you need to, something that feels good in your body. Any compression in the low back, please do less, don't come down as much. And then nice and easy, slowly, slowly come on up. All right, let's make it onto our backs when you're ready. You can come down with me nice and slow. Just make sure there's not a blanket or any props underneath you. Reaching your arms forward, fingers forward, and slowly, as the navel draws in, we're just gonna start to tilt the pelvis back, lowering the low back onto the floor. And then the mid back. And a little part of the upper back might hover, the heels might lift up. You're in Ardha Navasana, half boat. Make sure there's softness in the shoulders and the back of the neck. Engage the inner thighs, hug up and firm up in the navel center, and then left back up. Full body stretch, reach the arms out nice and long. Enjoy the stretch, it's amazing. And as you exhale, you gently hug these knees in towards the chest. Roll out the ankles, spread out the toes, gently rock from side to side. Maybe some little circles again, very therapeutic for the low back, for the hips. And resting the feet down onto the floor, coming into one single bridge, and making sure the feet are about hips width apart, like when you stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Arms down by your sides, take a nice belly breath in. As you exhale the breath out, we start to tilt the pelvis back until it's lifted off of the mat. And we lift the low back and mid back, rooting into the heels generously, big toe mounds. You might shrug the shoulders a little bit towards one another more. And as you firm up in the inner thighs, back to the legs, feel these two hip points rising up energetically towards the sky. Feel the chest open and spacious. Shins actively reaching towards the front of your mat. And then when you're ready, starting to slowly release the shoulders, allowing yourself with a lot of control, the mid back comes down, low back touches, and then the hip pelvis. Pausing here, let the feet come to the width of the mat, knees touch, arms out in the nice beautiful T. Pause here, breathing in. And breathing out, taking in all that air, all that breath that moves through the belly, the ribs, chest, relaxing through the back of the neck. And the knees sweep over towards the right side, coming onto the outer edge of the right foot and the inner edge of the left foot. You might take the right ankle, outside of the right ankle, and very gently place it on top of your left thigh. Only if this feels good in your body. Notice what you feel along the left top of your hip. Would be the outer right hip. And then gently release that. Come back to center. The feet are very wide. Width of your mat, knees touch. And then the knees fall over towards the left in this orientation. Outer edge of your left foot, inner edge of the right, or the blades of the feet. And this might be just right for you, or you could take the outer ankle and very gently place it on top of the right thigh. As it weighs down a little bit more, you might open up the top of your right hip and that quadricep muscle, the thigh. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Nice and easy, coming back when you're ready. Knees hug in, a little happy baby. We'll start slow. As the knees draw out towards the sides of the waist, the feet rise up towards the ceiling. I've been saying kind of a little bit like duck feet, where the toes and knees are outwardly rotated. Hands come behind the backs of the thighs, right behind those knee creases, and then soften the thighs, the tops of your thighs down towards the waist, towards the rib cage. Roll out your ankles, maybe rock from side to side, soften your shoulders and back of the neck, and then you can decide whether you want to walk your hands up towards the calves or the outer edges of the feet. And you can be very creative here, moving a little bit more to create spaciousness in the back body, or stay nice and quiet. You'll know what's best. Enjoy this time where we feel a little bit more quiet in the mind, spacious and relaxed and strengthened in the physical body. This practice is here for you. Bring the legs up overhead for a moment, pointing your toes up towards the sky, flexing your feet. We do that, we inhale, we point. And your knees can be very soft here. They don't have to be completely straight. Pointing and flexing, flare out through the toes, draw the heels up. One more time, inhale, pointing. Exhale, flexing. Hugging the knees back in towards the chest. Maybe you even draw the chin in towards the chest and round like a cat. And then slowly releasing the feet down. Arms down by your sides. Legs can lengthen and you can move into a Shavasana. Pausing your video if you need to so you can spend some extra time in this very replenishing, restorative shape. Resting through the back of the head, space in between the shoulder blades. Hips soften, back releases. The breath softens at a nice, easy cadence. The eyes relax behind the lids. Taking one more nice breath in. And soundable exhale to yourself. Gently hugging the knees in towards the chest. Rolling over to any side that you like. Pausing in fetal posture. And then nice and easy as you press up into the palms, coming up to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes open or closed. Resting the palms on the lap. Lengthening through the back of the neck. Hands come to heart center in prayer, Anjali Mudra. Appreciating all of your efforts and sharing with you a peace mantra. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May our words, our thoughts, and our actions always contribute to that intention. Thumbs rising right up to the third eye center. Namaste.